bigger profits in your small business, like many of us, I'm sure you're feeling it. Business is still hard. Now more than ever, you need to make sure you have a plan to help you not just survive, but thrive. I'm Marcia Reiner. I'm a business strategist on a mission, and I've helped tons of small business owners to implement and establish and implement a tangible plan that guarantees sustainability and profitability, and it guides your growth. I want to share with you some strategies that I've earned and learned on today's Profit with a Plan podcast. So my guest today is really excited is Valerie Recore. And Valerie is a productivity coach. She's a time giver and a decision maker. She works with overwhelmed and overcommitted women. She's been there. She gets it. She's got 2 young kids, a husband, and runs a business of her own with an occasional social life, right? She has felt that there is just too much on her plate. And she knows it and knows how to help us with it. With a background in mental health and corporate training, she is ready to guide you towards a better relationship with time. She loves to travel, looks forward to doing more with her kids as they grow. And on rare occasions, you can find her on the couch or the back porch with a cup of coffee, or my favorite, a glass of wine, reading a book. Gosh, when was the last time you got to enjoy that kind of time? If you're feeling pulled in too many directions, she's our gal. She's here to help with. Welcome to Profit with a Plan podcast, Valerie.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Excellent. This is exciting. So, we've been in a crazy year of being stuck at home, working at home, the new normal kind of stuff. But there's always that balance that we can't seem to um, grab a full life out of, or even be more productive at home. So, with that in mind, what are some of the tips that you can give us that might make us more productive as we start to transition, maybe back to work in the office or working at home more?
Whatever that looks
Crazy
like.
time. I know.
Sure. Well, and I think when we are working from home, it's easy to lose track of those boundaries between work and anything else. The computer's always there. We can always just be on our phones or our tablets. And so we just are constantly, and I find myself occasionally just checking my work email way too much. I check my personal email and then I immediately follow it up with checking my work email. And I'm thinking, why? It's Saturday morning. I don't need to be doing any of this. And so really putting in those boundaries of, okay, I am done working for today and I'm going to shut my computer down and I'm going to walk away. And maybe there's a ritual in there. Maybe you walk around the block. Maybe you go have a kitchen dance party, whatever it is, doing something that kind of signals the end of your workday.
I like that.
And I think in there too, we can always work more, but I think it's knowing what we want to do every day. What are our priorities? What are the key 3 to 5 tasks that need to happen every day to move our businesses forward? What is bringing in the clients, making the money, whatever it is we need to do, and focus on those. And then if you get those done by noon, you can keep working. Or maybe if you run your own business, you take the afternoon off because you've gotten those tasks done. And then you can go play for a little while. But I think those boundaries are the key part of that, because it's easy to do too much and not walk away when you should.
I totally agree. And I think with us being still in this pandemic kind of world, we lost those boundaries over the last year plus of saying, well, I got up and I left my bedroom and I went to my desk, and then I went to the kitchen, and then I went back to my desk, and we never really left the home. So those lines got really, really blurred. And okay, I had a good day today. I went from the kitchen table to the couch to the desk back to the dining room table. I experienced some freshness, but how do we keep that? How do we make sure that we're staying on guard like that? Because those boundaries are good to say, but hard to execute on.
They are, absolutely. I would start by taking a look at your weekly schedule and maybe doing some time blocking. So maybe you're going to focus on certain tasks during certain days or certain times of the day. You're going to check emails certain times of the day, and really blocking that out on your calendar, while also leaving room for things to come up. I will add 7 things to my to-do list by Tuesday morning from what looked to be an easy week. And suddenly I'm going, what just happened? I have so much going on. And so leaving space in your calendar maybe blocking time off on your calendars if you can.
Mhm.
So I usually don't, my calendar is blocked off. People cannot schedule appointments with me on Fridays. I will schedule appointments with others, but I'm in control of that. And so Friday is like my catch up day. And when I do all my admin or just whatever didn't get done during the week. And then setting timers. I think using timers to do that, using a time timer. I don't have one near me, but it counts that, it shows the time counting down. And it's great with kids, but I use it for myself too. So you could say, I'm going to sit here and
And
work on
we've
this
got those
task
on our
or
watch, we've got those on our
watches.
phone. It's not like you have to run out and
Yeah.
buy something crazy.
No,
So
and you don't at all. No, just use a timer. So I'm going to sit and I'm going to work on this task for 30 minutes and then I'm going to go take a walk. I'm going to, maybe you have a timer that goes off at 4:30 every day. And that's the reminder for you of, okay, I'm going to wrap up my day. I'm going to clean up my desk. I'm going to process a few emails, check my to-do list and schedule for tomorrow. And then I'm going to walk away. And maybe you have a second one that goes off at 5 to remind you to actually walk away, like get up and leave, or whatever time it is that makes sense for
right.
you. But use timers to your advantage. My phone dings all the time, reminding me to send my kids back, my 5-year-old back to class. So it's just the like, and that's also a reminder for me, okay, she's in remote learning right now. I'm going to go sit down and work or go do X or Y. And so really use your technology, use it, don't let it use you. So put it to work for you. And I think timers can be very helpful, as well as having an analog clock somewhere in your office so that you can see, you can visually see. I think we get so used to the digital aspect that it's harder to visualize your time. And so if you have a digital or an analog clock in your office, you can see that time pass as well. And that might be helpful.
Wow, that's really good. I have a client that we were setting on goals and working on some things, and one of her goal was to go back and look at the calendar and work off of her calendar. So
Mm-hmm.
many of us get into that reactive mode, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
we let others drive us. And these are tools. These are really useful, helpful tools that are in your computer, on your phone, on your desk that are
Mm-hmm.
blocking that out. I got a mistake the other day I let people into my calendar and I thought I had blocked a time where it threw
Mm-hmm.
my whole day off because
It
they
does,
jumped
yeah.
into a slot that was open that they can't see that my entire day was full except for that one little slot, and it really did mess me up. So I love the idea of really setting those boundaries in your calendar for
Mm-hmm.
you to be able to catch up, do the things, or even just take that time off, because I know
Absolutely.
I find we're trying to put that square peg into the round hole.
And you just
Sometimes
can't,
just that
yeah.
walk around the block or stepping away from the computer will give us that extra energy we need to do that. So that's really,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
It's important. And I think so I noticed over the last few months, if I prefer to exercise most days of the week. And I found that if I wasn't exercising by noon, maybe 1 o'clock, it just wasn't going to happen. And so I actually have blocked off on my calendar this year from 11 to 12. That's my time to exercise. Like that is when I do it during the week because it makes the most sense for me. And I don't feel like I have any less work time. It's just I've shifted my day around so that's my time. That's when I'm taking a break. And there's so many, listen to podcasts or think about a work problem while you're doing it. So you're not fully maybe stepping away, but I think that's
no,
important to make time for.
that is, because when you do that, it frees up that mind, it gets the blood flowing, and then you can come back and attack the
Mm-hmm.
problem. And
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes we forget about that, where we work through lunch, we grab something, we're sitting at the desk, we're still pounding, we look
Mm-hmm.
up, it's 3 o'clock, and it's like, holy cow, where did the day
Yeah.
go?
And I think when you walk away, you are more productive. Like you can hit that point of diminishing returns of just the more you work, the less productive you are because you're exhausted and you need to take those breaks.
Yeah, I like that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we talked about managing something that we really should do, which is our time, because it's
Mm-hmm.
something we can control, right? There are
Mm-hmm.
so many forces against us in the world that we cannot control. The one of the few things that we can control is what we do during the day and the time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I like that. So what are some of the other productive things that can get us really working and coming out of these challenges that we've been in to make us that much stronger?
Mm-hmm. So several things. One, to just take a step back from all of this, take this time to really evaluate where it is where it is you're headed, where is it you want to go, how is it you want to spend your time, and with who do you want to hang out with, and so we're not diving right back into pre-pandemic life where we're just hectic and doing everything without intention. And really taking this time to think about that. How do you want to be spending your time? What is it you want your business to look like? And how are you going to get there? What is it you want your personal life to look like? And really starting, I think now is a great time to start taking those steps. What is it you want to be doing, and what can you start doing safely now to build on that? Is it saving money, building your business, exercising, being outdoors, whatever that might look like, and really taking that time now while we can to move forward into that. And knowing where your time is going right now. I think it might feel strange to track your time in the middle of a pandemic when time just seems to mean nothing anymore. Nobody really knows what's going on.
Right.
But really taking that time to know, especially for your business, where you're spending your time, so that you know what tweaks you might need to change. Maybe you think you're not spending any time on social media, you think you're not spending any time with your family, but when you track it, you really find out like, okay, I am actually spending time with my family, or wow, I'm on social media way too much. No wonder I'm not getting anything else done. Or
Right. And this is a great time to do that reevaluation.
mm-hmm,
I'm a fan of that, you don't just do it in the beginning of the year and then it's done and set in
mm-hmm,
stone and off you go. It's something that needs to be touched. Your planning and strategies need to be focused on and touched on a regular basis. So,
mm-hmm,
you may have had those goals that you set at the beginning of the year, and maybe they fell off, or maybe you didn't get to where you thought you would. But it's also
mm-hmm,
a great time to reestablish those goals and reevaluate and
mm-hmm,
and figure out where you're going. That's a good point to come in at the second quarter, at the
mm-hmm.
third quarter, the fourth quarter. At any time during the time that you set the goals to completing the goals, you can reevaluate
Absolutely.
or pull yourself back on track again.
Yeah, things are going to shift, and you may need to, either pull yourself back on track or just shift something completely different. Hey, this isn't going to work out this year. I'm going to move it, just put it in the back burner, and I'm going to focus on this other goal that I know that makes more sense, or whatever that looks like. But it really taking that time, I think, to evaluate on a regular basis so that we can shift what we're doing and get back on track wherever we need to. Absolutely.
Yeah. Those we know that, Pandora box opens. You go one path and all of a sudden you're realizing, holy cow, I got 10 more things to do over here that maybe you didn't account
Mm-hmm.
for. And so, or that's a very productive or profitable direction. Let's add more to that. So that
Mm-hmm.
reevaluation time is good. So when
Absolutely.
you're reevaluating, what are some of the tools that you can do in your business to keep that reevaluation going frequently? Is there like
Mm-hmm.
a calendar time? Do you schedule it? What are your thoughts on that?
I would recommend scheduling time, either quarterly, maybe monthly, if that makes sense for you. No more than 6 months, at least 3 months, every 3 months. Schedule that time. And it might feel like, oh, I can't take this hour, these 3 hours to kind of take a step back, but it's going to save you time in the long run to reassess, to take that time, kind of have a little board retreat with yourself and really just take some time to focus on all of that, because you're going to realize where you've fallen off track, what isn't working. How are you spending your time? Maybe you track your time for a week or two before you take that time. And so then you step back, you block some time on your calendar, and you take a morning or an afternoon to just really evaluate what you're doing, where your time is going, and say, hey, okay, this process isn't working, or it's taking too much time, or maybe this process is really important, but I need to outsource it. I don't have time to do my own social media. Maybe I need to just let somebody else do this because this piece is important and I don't have time.
Or that's not the best use of my time.
Right,
Something else
that
is.
also
Yeah.
as well. Yes. So it's just really evaluating that. And I think doing that every few months as a business owner is fabulous. And maybe in January, you block it off for the entire year. You just get those on your calendar. These are when I'm taking my days to just have a retreat by myself, curl up in a cozy corner of your house or wherever, whatever makes sense for you, and take that time and and really process, check in with your goals and your visions, and make sure that you are spending your time focused on that. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's the magic thing I think that people forget about the productivity is we just get into habits and routines and we just chug along and we think
Mm-hmm.
if I just do more, or if I just am a little bit better at it, where instead of taking an hour it takes me 40 minutes or it takes me a half hour.
Mm-hmm.
That's the wrong thought process in my mind. And you brought up a couple of really good points that bring it to, it just may not be the right time for you to do that, or it may be that you
Mm-hmm.
need to delegate it, or you might have not realized that you're spending all this time over here when you thought you were spending it over there. But it's that reevaluation thing
Mm-hmm.
that I think really helps out. All right, so what are some of the other ideas that you can help us get used to keep the productivity flowing as we start to move through the year and keep these things moving in the right direction?
Mm-hmm. Another one would be timing your tasks. So, what are the things that you do on a regular basis in your business and in your personal life that you need to make time for? And so, a couple examples would be like emptying the dishwasher. I feel like I am always emptying the dishwasher, especially now that we're all home and like eating at home so much. We run our dishwasher way too much, it feels like. But in reality, it takes me 5 minutes to empty it, maybe 10 to 15 if I empty it and load the dishes that have collected on the counter since last time. Things in your business. How long does it take you to sit down and write a blog post or do your social media or write a monthly report or write some contract for a client? Whatever it is that you do on a regular basis, time it. And maybe you need to time it a few times to get an average, like a good sense of how long it takes you, so that okay, I need to block 2 hours off every Tuesday morning to do this monthly or weekly report or some client contracts or whatever that looks like in your world, and make that time. Or it might be that it feels like it's going to take you 3 hours, but it really takes you half an hour. You just procrastinate or obsess about it for so long that it just feels like a bigger project. And sometimes just that first step is a really big piece there. So timing your tasks can also be very helpful. Let's see, there was another one that just escaped my mind. So timing your tasks and
So when we're timing that task, I'm a big fan of systems and processes. So,
mhm,
if you're going to find that like you've obsessed about it, you've worried about it, you don't like it, it took you 3 hours when the actual task itself took you 30 minutes. And we talked already about potentially delegating it. This might be a good time for you too to create those systems and processes so you
mhm,
can delegate it,
mhm,
like writing a standard operating procedures. So,
mhm,
this is the formatting that I want, or this is the steps I take when I onboard my client, or these are the steps that I take after the client meeting. I go through this, and that.
mhm.
Whatever your processes that you repeatedly do all the time, make the notes on it.
Absolutely.
Figure out how
Yeah.
you can improve it, right? Whether
Mhm,
you're delegating or not, but that improvement will put more time back in your day,
mhm.
right?
Absolutely. And then if you have that checklist or those operating procedures, it makes it easier for the next time that even if that you do it. So I have a whole checklist of things that I do when I'm working on my social media. Like, where is it documented? How am I scheduling it? Like, what am I looking at? Where am I getting my ideas from? And this
Yeah.
checklist helps me make sure that I'm doing all of that, and so that it's quicker and easier to do next time. Yeah, I think documenting it is definitely helpful.
So what do you think? You brought up another thing that kind of is a time, um, I want to say a time killer, or maybe a false time killer, is we make a list. And
Hmm.
then we made a list of the things that we've already done, right? Oh, I did this one, so I can write that down and put a line through it. You start cheating on your list and stuff. Talk to me a little bit more about lists and how you can make that productive and beneficial as a win kind of situation.
Yeah, there are so many different ways to do that. So first, I would start with what I call it, or I don't call it, a brain dump. So just sit down and get everything out of your head, because your brain is not meant to hold all of your ideas and your to-dos and your tasks and appointments. It all, just get it out of your head onto a Word document, onto a piece of paper, whatever makes sense for you. And it doesn't have any rhyme or reason, just get it all out of your head. And then you can go back once you've done that and look at it. What is it that's on your list? And then you can start to organize that into a couple of different ways. So one would be by where sort of the topic. So it might be errands that you need to run. It might be a list of phone calls you need to make or emails you need to respond to. And you don't have to split them by work and personal in that case. So you're going to sit down and make a bunch of phone calls on Thursday. You have all those phone calls are already listed. And so you can just sit down and like knock those out as it makes sense. Same for emails. Maybe it's sitting down and processing a certain number of emails or flagged emails or whatever that might look like, or errands as well. Or it might break it down by like work you do at your computer and work you're going to do off your computer in a meeting. So breaking that down, you can look at it in terms of due dates. So what is it that's coming up soon? What are bigger projects that I need to break down into smaller steps? So you don't want to just have, like, if you have a presentation you're giving in 3 months, don't just write down the name of that presentation. It needs to be, put that on your calendar and then break down all the steps of what you need to do so that you are making progress and preparing for that presentation. You don't want to just a week before be like, oh, I have to book this flight and I have to do this or that, and I still haven't written this presentation. I don't have like, you've been steadily working towards that because you've broken that project down. That was several.
I think in anything we do in the business, breaking it down into bite-sized chunks. My mom used to say, you can't eat an elephant in one bite. So start at the tail and start working your way through it.
Yeah.
So, any project that you can do, or even your daily task, if you break them down into, this is what I got to do in the morning, this is what I've got to do in the afternoon, this is what I've got to do on Monday, this is what I got to do on Thursdays. You break them down and make it into some sort of a habit or rhythm that you do. And then it becomes easy. You know that on Thursday morning, you've got to do X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
I like that. I like that. So my first thought that came to mind was that you rank them, and you rank them from this to that. But I like how you broke them out and you broke them down and you moved them into categories that made sense. That's a good idea.
And you don't want to work off of just one master list because your brain is going to be so overwhelmed. So pull some out. So I'll have my list of to-dos for the month. And I sit down, I do most of my planning on Fridays for the following week. And I think, okay, this week or next week, I don't have a whole lot of scheduled meetings. So I'm going to put in these big projects that I need to work on. And I'm going to maybe block time off on my calendar so that time stays clear. And like, this is the time I'm going to sit down and work on this presentation. And so then I know that I'm making progress on those steps. And then when it's broken down a little bit smaller, let's say Tuesday morning, I didn't sleep all the night before, I'm worn out, my kids are cranky, something. I know what's on my list for the week. It never happens.
Never happens.
We always sleep
Things
well.
Don't get in the way.
But I know, okay, this isn't going to happen today, but this other task was on my Wednesday to-do list. I'm going to do that today. I'm going to switch things around. So maybe I'm working on something a little bit easier, but I'm still making progress. But because I have everything documented and loosely scheduled for the week, I can shift where I need to. Or I'm going to sit down Tuesday and just like, all right, no, I actually have to get this done. I'm just going to have to sit down and knock it out and do it and just be done with it. Take a bite out of that elephant.
Right. It's a nice visual, right? You're thinking of this gigantic elephant. You go on the ugly stuff first. You start at the tail.
You just got to go somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, you do. And I think that's it. Many of us have, many of my clients have this problem. They put these big tasks, arduous tasks on their to-do list. And then they're like, oh, can't do it, but they can if they broke them down into smaller tasks like that in appetizer styles or snack styles, if we're talking food, just smaller versions of it that they can do that and start to get that win and that feeling of saying, oh, I checked this off my list, or I completed this, or whatever that reward is. And speaking of rewards, I mean, if you did it, you could say, if you make it through here, I'm going to take Friday afternoon off and go golfing or spend time with my family or spa or whatever, rocks your boat. So
read that book. Yeah. That's I had a client a couple of years ago who we were working on her to-do lists and how to kind of get her motivated and stop procrastinating on things. And one of her tasks was LASIK. That's all it said was LASIK. It's like, well, your brain is going to look at that and have absolutely no idea what next step is that you need to take. So that is a project and you need to write that down. She needed to track down some insurance card and some money and make appointments. Like, you need to document that, what all of those tiny little steps are, so that each week or each day you can take one step. Because otherwise your brain looks at that and it's like, I don't even know what to do with that. I'm going to go over here and do something else.
Right.
And then it never happens. And so it's those tiny steps are what's going to help move you forward.
You know, that's another really, really great productivity trick or hack you can do with it. You know, you've got this big goal or this big project. Maybe it's redesigning your website, or maybe it's, going through your email list, or maybe it's, something that's really big that's going to take a lot of time. Maybe it's calling old clients. If you just break it down into smaller every day. Okay, I'm going to look up my new a new logo, or I'm going to look up what colors seem to be more attractive towards, my ideal customer, or I'm going to write the front page or the about me page. And, it's not the big thing of doing the whole website, but it's taking one section out of that and just knocking it off your list.
Yeah. Because it's so easy to procrastinate otherwise, and you just don't want to do it because it feels like too much work.
It's not rocket science here, what we're talking about, folks. These are little things every day, duh, we know these things, but we forget about them because we're so messed up by trying to be in the hustle of being a business owner, wearing 25 different hats, giving someone's orders or asking people to help or your staff to help. We get all messed up in that and realize that, again, the one thing we can control is our time and our productivity. And these are some fabulous ideas on ways to manage that in a way to get more done. I'm loving this idea. And it's just, again, right there in front of you. You just got to be reminded how to use them.
We do. Well, I think we get so into knocking tasks off our to-do list that we don't think about what it is that we're doing. And it's something that even I struggle with. And I just the last couple of weeks have really been focused on, okay, are the tasks on my to-do list for today and this week actually what I need to be doing? Are they moving me forward? Are they moving my business forward? Are they moving my family forward? And if not, why are they there? And really focusing on, are these truly important, or are we just doing things because we feel like we need to be doing them,
or doing them in place of something that we should be doing?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
Big ahas here. These are really good points. And I think having an intentional direction and always evaluating the thing that's on our list, the thing that's on our calendar, that to do that we have to do every day. Is it moving my business forward? Is it moving my family forward, my relationships forward? Is it moving me forward so I can be more to everybody else? I mean, that's a big piece that us women, self-induced, we put these huge loads on our back and say, I'm going to carry them up there to prove that I can, and
yeah, I feel like that could be a whole other podcast, whole other discussion.
several,
several.
But in the circle of things, when we're looking at our daily activity and weekly activity, we really shouldn't look at our annual activity because that's too big. But we look at little bites, like your daily and weekly load that you put on there. I think that's the fabulous key. And the point that we want to drill in on is it moving me forward?
Yeah. You keep those big goals and that vision in the back of your mind or documented somewhere, and you make sure that the tiny steps you take every day are getting you there. And then the check-in to make sure that you're still headed on the right track. And yeah.
Love it. Valerie, thank you so much. This has been great. So I know you've got, this is what you do. This is your gig, this is your hustle. This is, how you help people and your value to the world. How can listeners find out more about you?
Absolutely. They can join my newsletter if they'd like. I've got a wonderful document I can share with anybody who contacts me on a procrastination, because I know we all suffer from it sometimes. And so just really me too on occasion. So really just looking at how to get past that. You can send me an email for that. Check out my website and follow me on social media. My newsletter and social media are really where to dive into who I am and how I can help you and support you.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. So give us your website address.
It is homemostsimple.com. And it's the same for social media as well. You can track me down under the same name. And come check me out. I'd love to hear from you.
Good. Well, this has been super valuable. And I know it's a perfect time in the year to come back and go, how can we get that momentum going and be more efficient and effective in our business? And I love it. So this has been great.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So thanks for listening today, listeners. I hope you found a few ideas to put into your business that will help your business become more profitable. And again, even in your family and your home life, it's a balance that we all need to have to be more profitable. So considering what has happened to businesses over the last year or so, now more than ever, it's even more important for you to create your own profit plan so that you too will have a thriving business. I've got 6 easy action tips that you can put into your business immediately, any time of the year, that can make a big impact. So go pick those up at failproofbiz, that's biz.com. And Valerie and I would love to hear any questions you have or feedback, and then even ideas for future shows. So comment down below and please subscribe. We would love to have you as part of our podcasting world here. And as always, you can catch Profit with a Plan on any of your favorite podcast players. And we're looking forward to more great profitable information on next week's show. So until then, make your plans and profit.